Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're from in the world of lockdown. Today, thought I'd give you some Horde updates. This has been posted a couple hours ago. Getting around to posting it just now after playing on stream for 9 hours. Had a really enjoyable stream today. I'm not particularly sure why. I just played escape mode, I played some multiplayer, and it just generally I felt at ease. Maybe I'm getting a bit more used to streaming. Maybe I don't know. It just felt decent. I enjoyed the game. I was enjoying it because I've unlocked everything now. I've done the tour of duty, that's fully complete, and I've done all the totems, and I do recommend doing them. It is a bit of a grind, but it's really not that bad. It's really not that bad. As a result of doing the tour of duty and grinding for these totems, I've played a bit more Horde, and I feel a little bit more comfortable speaking on Horde. And I guess PvE in general. However, I'm not the PvE guy. One day, maybe if I play enough, I'll be able to give some tips, but I'm not the PvE guy at the moment. I've spoke to Lord Relo, who was the #1 Horde player in the world on the leaderboards. I've played with some Masters Horde players, and I've played with some casual players, and I feel like I'm okay to give you a bit of a update. So here we have the Horde updates, and I'll jog you through them. And again, because I'm not the Horde expert, I will this time ask you in the comments to let me know what you think of the changes. Are these good changes? Are they bad changes? Maybe you can discuss between yourselves some things about Horde that you enjoy, don't enjoy, what you would like to see changed, and about the patch, because maybe some devs watch these videos, maybe they could read the comments, so always try to keep your comments thoughtful. So pretty much I'll jump you through these. There's going to be the Horde Frenzy, which if you didn't know is the 50 waves condensed into 12. A boss, I think, is every 4 waves. I believe, so that will be in custom games, so that's going to be useful for leveling up, say, boss kills in Tour of Duty and stuff like that, and it's a shorter game mode, bit more intense, so that might be more enjoyable. Maybe you want to hop online and play some Horde with your friends, but it takes a bit to get ramped up, and Horde Frenzy didn't really have that many players online, so maybe that's a way to have a little bit more enjoyment in single player, I guess. Not single player, but custom games. Now, the balancing, I will mention straight off the bat, and you can let me know if this is good or bad. I don't see any changes to scrap or any changes to, say, new cards. There are different cards and stuff like that, but there's no changes to scrap or how the cards work. It's the same system. It's the same speed of earning cards and all that stuff. There's nothing in there that's changed that. Now, in terms of basic tuning, there's a few things going on. The ammo boxes are every 90 seconds, and Jack can carry them. They have the total price of the leveling up perk to 10. They've reduced that by 50%. So what would happen is you never really upgrade yourself because you were constantly giving money to the engineer, and as a result, you never really picked the perks. Well, I personally didn't, because you were just feeding money to the engineer. So that's pretty decent. What I think is, with some changes down the road as well, is I think they're trying to give players the option to put a bit more points into stats and maybe not give everything to the engineer. Players can now use basic gameplay inputs during the end of the screen. The waiting for pop-up has been removed, and the power tap is going to give effectively double at level 1, 100 to 200, or should I say 200 from 100, 400, 400, and then 600, and then 1000, because it was not that great, was it, level 1. Leeches, HP nerf, Sentinels, HP nerf, Matriarch HP nerf, and Boss Creature regen nerf. Now, that is to do with the regen mutator, and now that I've played a bit more PvE, what people were doing was they were shooting a boss with like JD's Lancer GL, putting the regen mutator on, watching it regen, shoot it, watch it regen, and that was a way to rack up damage quickly. That seems to have been nerfed. I think it's a niche farming method. I'm not sure why that needed to be nerfed. But it could also be good because generally when you have that mutator on, bosses can be a bit annoying, and it might alleviate some problems. Like if you don't have burst damage, meaning you can't just chunk it down in like 3 hits, it would regen. So maybe now different classes are opening up because you don't have to have burst damage because it won't regen as much. Shooting a Guardian or Sentinel Shield will now delay health regen. Reduced. Basically, this is the nerf to JD. So when I was playing Horde, and because I've played a bit more, you basically have JD. JD has lockers. You level them up. You chuck the Lancer GLs in. You have the bleed damage. JD's going to shoot the GLs off. He's going to stash them away. Get ready for next round. Now what's happened is this is going to fill every 40 seconds instead of every 15. So that's a pretty big nerf to JD. We've adjusted the behavior of the reduced active ability perk to change to total cooldown time instead of increasing it. And they've added music to boss horde waves, which is nice. So this Lancer GL nerf, I'll bear that in mind and speak about that in a second. Now what's happened for weapons, this is PvE, the Lancer ammo has been buffed up, and this answers somebody's question yesterday. Somebody said, oh, I think the reason they added 10 extra bullets to Versus is because it was annoying in PvE. PvE has different weapon tuning. The guns are separate, so if they wanted to do that, they can. That didn't have anything to do with it. Max ammo buffed up to 420. Magazine pickups to 5. Amount of magazines from 2 to 3, and bullets dropped on Lancer pickup from 20 to 50. So basically, Lancer gets buffed because probably wasn't been used enough, and classes that felt like they had cards that used the Lancer probably were like, I don't even know why I'm using the Lancer. So that's good. Nasher no longer requires a perfect active reload like the new PvP change, so you just reload, you're going to get all 6 shots every time. The long shot active cooldown has been reduced, and extra ammo on pickup. The M-Bar also has extra ammo. Now, in terms of characters, I believe Baird is going to become top tier as like the engineer. Doubled the damage because from what I've spoke to Horde players, and please do comment below if you're a PvE player. I'm trying to get a bit more of a PvE community as well on my channel, so let me know if you'd like that in the comments, if you'd like me to cover more PvE. Baird was already becoming kind of tier 1 next to Dell, and they've doubled the damage of his DR1 ult. The duration has doubled. The radius has increased from 16 to 20, which is a pretty decent sort of buff. Max bleed damage from 40% to 100, so that bleed card has got buffed a lot. Removed the short range requirement and increased the radius on Nerves of Steel from 3 meters to 10. The note was his ultimate was a bit underwhelming, especially with the bleeding damage. It's now going to provide a burst of damage and protection that's valuable to the team. Marcus, I feel, sucks kind of. I don't really see where he fits. He's not that great, and I'm not sure if that's going to help. Now, his Lancer card is going to apply to all Lancer variants, and the Lancer got buffed, which is good. And his max damage resistance on the dug-in card goes to 50, but I'm not sure if that's enough to bring him into play. Keegan, you can let me know. Keegan, the increased resistance of the healing module has gone from 30 to 60, so that's a big buff. They're saying the healing module could create some awesome moments, but the strength of the card wasn't in the right place. This change should now offer Keegan the potential to save the team in chaotic situations, meaning you can probably you're panicking, you've ran out of ammo, group up, boom, get everyone some instant bullets. Mac decreased the cooldown of the barrier from 400 to 300, the default deflection from 10 to 15, and the delay on his barrier from 0.3 to 0.1. Mac doesn't get a lot of opportunities to use his shield, so the precious time he has with it is usually better spent than protecting himself while using Bloody Shot. Mac should now feel more comfortable using it in a wider variety of situations. But the problem with this, and the problem with Horde in general, as I'm a newish player to the scene, is I don't think tanks really have any role in Horde. They get to a point where the AI in this game isn't good. it's not terrible, but it's not really clever. What happens is they just become aimbots that do a million damage, and you can't pop out. And then it's not a fun game because everyone has. If you haven't got if your setup's good, the setup sort of completes the game for you. If your setup's bad, your individual skill can't carry you through or even aid you. You just get one-shotted relentlessly. Mac is a tank that runs in with a barrier and sort of hits people, shoots people up close. But I'm never really seeing an opportunity, especially on high level, to really run in with Mac and sort of be a tank. And this goes for all tanks. I'd like to have seen Mac get some sort of different style of ultimate, or maybe change his bleed into some sort of venom cloud, because he also has an extra damage in venom, some synergy there or something. I'm just not sure that really helps Mac. Let me know. Fahz apparently has been buffed a decent amount, removed during ultimate requirement on his explosive critical hit, and changed the behavior of icy precision. Now icy damage is basically 17% it goes from 10 to 17%. Fahz already had an initial round of buffs, but we wanted to push him further. Explosive crit is difficult to use because Fahz needs time to kill, basically. And if two enemies are very close together, needing also time with his ultimate was making the card very difficult to get value out of, or should I say, needing to also time this with his ultimate. Basically, they're trying to make Fahz pretty decent, and I think you could always use Fahz, he's not bad, but I think Fahz might now be semi-decent. The way I see it, if I read this as well, if you didn't know, JD doesn't spawn with a GL, and he has got a bit of extra radius on the Marcus Daddy card, which is like the damage reduction next to Marcus. Hey, look, I'm learning, guys. I'm learning about PvE. But this doesn't change the damage output of JD. Right, so here's what's going to happen. You're going to have to buy, maybe, because it refills like 2.5 times slower, and the lockers aren't as good. JD is probably going to need 2 lockers of like 4 GLs each, 6 maybe 6 to 8 GLs, and they all cost like 2k. So that's like 12k plus, maybe 16k. I'm not sure on how many you're going to need and they're also going to have to build an extra level 4 locker. JD's still going to push out the same amount of damage, but his time to come online and his time to just dominate is going to be less. So you can look at it in 2 ways. If you love JD, he's still going to be really useful, and if you're playing with your friends in a team, they can get you set up. All that's going to happen is this: if you play with JD, the time to ramp up is going to be longer. You're going to have to donate money to your engineer as always, and then on top, you're going to have to start saving, or the engineer is going to have to go a little bit broke and get your GLs going. So maybe you substitute in some extra damage to carry you up to the point. But the thing is with JD, once he's got his lockers and his GLs, it's game over. So it was coming online too quickly. And that's cool, nerfing it, but they didn't really bring anybody up to replace that. So instead of making everybody good, here's what I would do, right? I would make everybody a lot better, and then people can just pick what characters they like, different playstyles, maybe what map they're playing on. They think, hey, I want to run a Fahz here, or I want to run a JD, whereas right now it's kind of like you have to run JD. I'm not sure if that's changed. I still feel like JD's probably going to be the best. It's just going to take a little bit longer for him to ramp up, and you might need to communicate a little bit better. Like, I need 2 lockers. I can't dump you as much money early on, maybe. Dell's Radius Best Friend cards got buffed from 2 meters to 10. I can't tell you what the Dell's Best Friend card is, to be completely honest, but that's a pretty big jump. So Google gives me nothing off a quick Google search. It gives me cards from YouTube, but that's a pretty big buff for Dell's Best Friends. Now Lizzie, I've recently unlocked her, hands up, haven't played her in PvE yet, so these changes are blind. Passive, she's now got take damage to charge her ultimate because she's a tank. Silverback, extra damage per hit. Change the text on the card, extra ammo in the silverback from 20 to 50. That's a big buff. That's more than double the ammo. She's going to overheat less, and she can also purchase drop shots from the fabricator. Seems like really good buffs. Kate, instead of dealing bleed damage off if she hits a pellet, it's now going to be each pellet that hits acquires the bleed, but they've removed the enemy must be bleeding on Kate's blood drain card. So Caitlyn's going to get buffed. So it's probably still going to be Caitlyn JD, or Kate JD as the strongest pair. Cog gear removed snub pistol requirement and increased the radius on cog gear's helpful headshots to 10 meters from 5, and changed the description to that the Lancer card applies to all Lancer variants like Marcus. The helpful headshots card is a cool card, but in theory it was hard to get value out of it. This will hopefully help the cog gear become a bit of a better medic. Jack, his max multiplier is going to go from 3 to 2.5. Jack is clearly the best option when it comes to the amount of power he can generate. This should change to take some power off Jack to collect all the power the team needs. So that's kind of how it is. There was no changes for sort of, a lot of people have a lot of excess cards. I imagine that sort of play a lot of PvE. There was no change for that, or the collection of cards, or the drop rate of cards, or anything. Now, we haven't seen the escape patch notes because, well, we haven't seen them. Maybe they then round it up and speak about cards in general, but this was mainly changes to, how do we word it? The meta. Now, could they have introduced some different types of fortifications? Maybe a Horde specific map? Yeah, maybe they could have done. But I think Horde's in a strange place because a lot of people do like it. I was chatting to some blokes. They're having a whale of a time in it. They love it. Some people hate it. Some people hate the fact you have to play Horde to do the tour of duty. Some people like signing in and grinding it. That's no longer a thing. You can do the tour from PvE or PvP. It's entirely up to you now. They've changed that. If you want to know all about the tour of duty changes, check the channel. There's tons of stuff on the channel. I've been working really hard. Hopefully you appreciate that. If you are, check out the old content goal. But that's kind of it, really. Hopefully, that's enough for you. Hopefully you like the sound of those, but I'm not sure. Also, I just realized I think I did the whole damn dev blog in the wrong scene. I should have been in this scene. If I was in the wrong scene, shit, man, I apologize. Mistakes happen. But yeah, I've been working really hard to make a load of videos. If you go to my YouTube channel, you pop up over here, you go to your channel, you click the videos on my page. We've got Mexico tournament, 2 Gears 2 behind the scenes videos, Capture the Flag, Operation 3 review, Skin Flex fashion show, which is a bit of a meme video you might like, versus changes, dev stream recap, 50-minute video. Been trying my very best to produce content for you, so if you do enjoy all the stuff I've been putting in, support, like, comment, subscribe, Twitch Prime, whatever you want to do. Really do appreciate it. Alright, hopefully Horde changes were enough. If not, we'll see what Escape does. Let me know in the comments below, Horde players, was that enough for you?